Hi, I'm Dr. Joe Wadlinger.
And I'm Heidi Wadlinger, and you're watching Encouraging People.
We've been asked to let you know why we started this channel. Back in 2006, I developed incredible lower back pain and had surgery to correct it. About a year later, I had a second surgery because that same disc blew out. Fast forward to 2008, my condition deteriorated into a normally incurable and excruciatingly painful condition called arachnoiditis. The pain was so unbearable that I had to be in bed all day long. I had to stand to eat because I couldn't sit. I couldn't work. I couldn't take care of my family. Many times, I would put a pillow over my face and just scream as loud as I could into it just to get momentary relief. Doctors tried everything that they knew, but nothing worked.
During this time, Joe and I were praying fervently. So many hours, I can't even begin to count them. And we asked our church friends and family to pray. We exhausted everything we knew about healing, but Joe didn't get better. He only got worse. Joe was so bad that he couldn't put a full sentence together. He struggled to put 3 and 4 word phrases together. He was a physical, mental, and emotional basket case. One day I told Joe, we just need to throw out everything we've heard and been taught about healing and go back to the Word. We need to search the Bible out for ourselves and find out what it says. And then we can start laying a foundation from the Word. We also started reading books and listening to people who had seen or were seeing people supernaturally healed of diseases as bad or worse than what Joe was experiencing. What we found out was eye-opening for us. We found out supernatural healing was still happening today. We heard many people tell us that doesn't happen. And healing didn't go out with the apostles. We also learned Jesus never refused to heal anyone who came to him, and everyone that came to him was healed, and also those that the Father had sent to him. We found out that healing in many places in the New Testament is translated from the Greek word sozo, which means total wholeness. Not just total wholeness of body, but also spirit, mind, emotions, and provision, which includes finances. We also learned that we are not only able to heal the sick in the name of Jesus, but Jesus told us that we are supposed to heal the sick, raise the dead, cast out devils, and cleanse lepers in his name. This way, we can demonstrate that Jesus is alive and the kingdom of heaven is among us. We also found out that there are healings and then there are miracles. They are not the same. Miracles are instantaneous healings, and healings are progressive miracles. There were just many, many more principles that we found that we didn't understand or we didn't know.
This was a lifesaver for me. Before this, I had embraced ideas that gave me no hope for the future. Being healed was not something I could count on because I misunderstood what the Bible really said about it. As the Apostle Paul says in Galatians 1, verses 6 and 7, I am astonished that you are so quickly deserting the one who called you to live in the grace of Christ, and you are turning to a different gospel, which is no gospel at all. Evidently, some people are throwing you into confusion and are trying to pervert the gospel of Christ. Now, we were getting a whole new perspective and starting to understand the true gospel, the real good news about all the things Jesus won for us through his death and resurrection. Faith began to be activated in Heidi, and when I had no faith at all, I began to have faith in her faith. As we began to learn that healing was ours, we began to pray with great authority and boldness. We found a church that believed in healing and began to attend a place where not only the leadership believed, but many of those people who sat in the pews too. These people figuratively picked up the corners of my mat and brought me to Jesus. They told me that I didn't need to have any faith of my own, that they would have it for me, and I would be healed.
This was a real spiritual battle we were fighting, and we did it with worship and prayer and proclaimed Joe's healing as ours. Over the next year, he got better and better until he was whole. It was one of those progressive miracles we talked about earlier. The wonderful thing that happened was that our spiritual muscles got stronger as the Word became more real to us than ever before. It was like our eyes had been opened and biblical principles that we had misunderstood or had never seen came alive. Now we were ministering to others and they were being healed too. Not everyone, but more than we had ever seen before in our entire lives. And not just physical healings alone. People were being set free of mindsets that they had had for decades. You know, the lies of the enemy were being identified. The enemy didn't like that. And they were being renounced, and the truth of God was being embraced wholeheartedly. And as the truth was embraced, God was able to do miracles in their lives. As the Lord says in Jeremiah 29:11, I know my plans for you, plans to prosper and not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future.
One day the Lord told us to write a book about our journey and the things we had learned along the way. He wanted it to be a vehicle to help those who were struggling with their walk with the Lord. The book is entitled Healed, God's Breakthrough Blueprint for Receiving and Releasing Miracles. There are now well over 3,000 copies in the hands of people, and the testimonies we hear are amazing. People are getting healed physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially as they embrace the principles found in its pages and read the testimonies we have written. Then the Lord expanded on that assignment. He told me that He wanted to use other forms of media to get this word out, through video and audio and books and articles using the internet. It was all about encouraging people to get them to understand each of them is God's favorite and have a God-given destiny to fulfill that He designed for them before the beginning of the world.
And that's how Encouraging People was born. We are just getting started, but over the course of the next year, we will be adding teaching, testimonies, interviews, and stories to both the encouragingpeople.com website and our YouTube channel. So if you want to learn how to live a powerful, victorious, overcoming, and joyful Christian life, please subscribe to our website and YouTube channels and click the bell so it will inform you when we add a new video. If you want to know more or want to contact us, please go to drjoewadlinger.com and click on the Contact Us button at the top of the page.
So may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord let His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom. Nothing lacking, nothing broken. And always remember, you are God's favorite.